Hi everyone, Happy New Year 2023. I'm excited for this year and I hope you are too. I'm sure it's got a lot of good things in store for everyone. I'm really excited to see what this year brings on my creative journey too. So I want to kick off the new year with a new video, and I've wanted to experiment with some crackling paste. So I've purchased this set. It's a modelling paste set from Pebeo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a smaller canvas, and I want to combine like a Dutch pour and the crackling paste. So I've got this image in my mind that I want a real kind of standout block of colour just in one section, and then the rest of the colour around that main colour to kind of be blown out and to see what kind of effect it takes. So I want to use the crackling paste in the block of colour. Now, we normally don't want any cracking or any grazing when we're doing our creations, but this time I'm just going to see what kind of effect it makes and whether I like it or not. So I really want to know what kind of effect it has and whether it's something that I want to use in some of my future creations. So I'm really excited to try something new, and I hope you'll join me too. So let's see what we can create. Okay, so I'm using a 16 by 16 inch canvas. I've got a stencil, my modelling paste, and a range of Arteza colours. And I almost wanted to go for like a tropical feel. So I'm going to choose most of these probably to put on my design, but I will add all the details in the description below for your information. Okay, so there are a couple of parts and processes to doing this design. So first of all, I'm concentrating on the part that I want as my block colour and my crackling effect. So I'm using a stencil, and within that area of the stencil is the part that I'm going to have that block colour, and that area that I'm going to use for my crackling paste. So first of all, I need to place an undercoat on the canvas. So I'm going to apply a layer of the undercoat just with a paintbrush. I let that dry for an hour, and then what I do is I will mix up my crackling paste with the colour that I'm going to choose, and I'm going to go for a raspberry red. That's the kind of colour that I want to focus on. So the instructions say leave it for an hour and then you can kind of start. So I'm going to follow those instructions and just experiment. And that's one thing that I really love about new techniques and new designs, is it's that kind of exploration of what to do, what not to do, what works well and what doesn't. And it's a real learning curve, and that's one thing that I really want 2023 to be for me on my creative journey, and I really hope you'll follow along too. So I've put my undercoat on, I'm removing the stencil. I'll just take you quickly in now just so you can see what kind of layer it's left. It's not a hugely thick layer, but that's the area where I will add my crackle paste and my colour, and then hopefully get those cracks within that kind of circle. So I'm using the raspberry red, and then I'm going to use these four colours as part of the blowout on the design. So I'm going to place my stencil back over the circular part that I've already done an undercoat with, and then I'm going to get my crackle paste and then add my crackle paste to the colour, so raspberry. I'm going to mix all of that in, and then I'm going to apply a really thick layer to the area that I've added the undercoat to. Now, it does say that the thicker the paste you use, the wider the cracks will be. So I've chosen to go really thick on this area because I'd quite like some really large, wide cracks, if that's possible. So that's my approach for this, because I want it to look really different from the rest of the piece that I'm going to layer out and blow out, a bit like a Dutch pour or a chaos Dutch pour. So I'm just going to add a little bit more, and then what I'm going to do is remove the stencil carefully. And yeah, wow, that's really good. There's a little bit there that I just need to get rid of with my finger, so I'll get rid of those now. But that's the real block of colour that I love. Look at that vibrant colour. But remember, this is hopefully going to really crack and open wide. So I'm now going to concentrate on the next part of this process, and that's kind of the colours around that block colour. So I've chosen those 4 other colours plus a white. I'll list all the description below and all the details so you know what colours I've used. But I'm literally just going to take this time now to focus on adding the other colours and blowing out, and really looking at the composition as I go and creating that vision that I've got in my mind that I can hopefully translate from my mind onto this canvas. So what I'm going to do now is take each colour in turn and add the colours onto the canvas around that big block of colour that we've already added. So yeah, each colour in turn, bit like how I would approach like a chaos Dutch pour or just a regular blowout with my dryer. I want a real good balance of these colours, so it's about judging how much paint to put on that canvas. I'm hoping when I blow it out, and I'm almost going to blow it out from the circle itself, so the circle is not within the centre of the canvas, but I'm almost going to use the circle like it is the centre. And what I will do is I will blow it out from there to kind of create that movement across the piece. I've not worked with Arteza paints for quite a while, but they're really stunning. And I wanted to create a tropical kind of feel and vibe to this piece. It's a new year. Here in the UK, it's really cold. We've got some wet weather. So I'm almost dreaming of those summer days again with the nice weather. And I wanted to almost kind of translate my feelings of looking forward to some warmer weather onto this canvas. And that's kind of the reason I'm doing this kind of tropical vibe and feel to this piece. I'm adding some white around the edges. That's going to help with the flow when I blow it out because I like some really pretty sides. And it will also help with adding some cells. So I'm adding all those paints now. And what I will do is I will take my blow dryer and I will take my time and blow out this piece. And what you'll really notice is I step back and have a look at the overall composition and the overall design within this piece. It's about creating a piece that I really enjoy, and when I look at it, it's something that I kind of take from it. I'm really looking to create movement. So what I mean is I've got that big block of colour in the circle, which is hopefully going to crack. And the paint around that circle, almost like a sun vibe, where the rays of sun and the rays of light come out from the centre and kind of project throughout the atmosphere. That's kind of what I'm going for when I'm looking at the movement from this. So I'm using my blow dryer and I'm using the circle as my focal point. And I start where the circle is and blow outwards. And that helps create that movement because of the way that the paint is being blown onto the canvas surface. Now what I've decided is I'm going to also add a little surprise at the end. So please stay tuned just to see what I do to this piece once it's dry, because I've added something which totally makes it look completely different, and it's something that we should maybe consider doing in other pieces. So if you give this a go, let me know how you get on. And when you're stepping back and looking at the overall composition and the overall design, there will probably be some places where you want to add a little bit more paint, and I do that in a minute. So in the corner where the round block of colour is, there is almost too much white space. And for this kind of design, that's not what I'm kind of going for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add a little bit more paint to that area and blow it out again. And you can always do that. That's the one really good thing with fluid art and fluid paint, is you can always add a little bit if you've not had enough. And if you put too much on, then obviously you can easily take some away just with a paper towel or something like that. But as you can see here, I'm just adding a few more drops in that area because I'd really like that area to be just as vibrant and covered as the rest of the piece itself. Once I've added those drops, I will just take my blow dryer again and blow over that piece, and then just kind of mold it into the piece that's already been created, just so there's continuity within that piece itself. And I think it really works well. I can't wait for you to see how it dries, and I really can't wait for you to see what I've also added at the end. But before we get to that, let me take you in for a close look now so you can see that detail, see some of those cells that have been created, how those tones of the paint have almost infused with each other. And you'll see the way that I've blown it out, I've been able to achieve that movement across the piece and around the canvas. Not to forget, that area there will crack. And I think what I'm going to do in my mind, I think I'm going to use some of the other colours I've already got and add within the cracks within that piece when it's dry. So yeah, I love this detail. I love trying new things. Guys, what are you going to try that's new to you in 2023? Let me know in the comments below. Are you going to try a different technique? Are you going to use different mediums or different things to embellish your pieces maybe? Or are you just going to really go for a new colour palette that you've not tried before? I'd love to know what you're going to try that's new to you in 2023. So drop them in the comments below. So it's all dry. Let me take you in for a close-up of the dry version, and you'll see how that block of colour has cracked. So because I added a thick layer of paste and paint, there are some really wide cracks. But what I've also done is within those cracks, I've added some of the colours that I've used in the larger blowout, and I really like that kind of addition to that overall look. And what I'm going to show you in a minute is amazing, and it's something that I might actually explore a little bit more this year. I'm going to add something further to this piece. It's very optional. I might keep it, I might not, I don't know. But I'm going to show you something that I'm going to add to this piece that almost makes it look like a tropical rainforest. So stick with me and have a look what I add shortly. And also let me know if you try this technique. I'd love to see what you create. Okay, so I have some leaves, and I've added these to the canvas to create what I would call a tropical rainforest. I got these within a local craft shop. They sell these for people that are doing flower arrangements. But I've also got some other ideas that I'd like to use these pieces for. But one thing that I wanted to do was show you what you can do with a piece so it makes it look 3D. So you can add various mediums and medias to your original piece to create a completely different look. And do you know what? I actually really like this. I'm really fond of those leaves that I've added to this piece to create this overall design. And that is definitely something I'm going to explore this year. Let me know if you're going to do something similar. I'd love to know what you're up to in 2023. So I believe there's like an official word for this. It's assemblage. So if you're adding things to a piece that makes it look 3D and it makes it look like it's popping and coming out of the original creation, assemblage is the word that I've almost found online to reflect what this piece is. Let me know what you think. I love experimenting. I really love that you're here with me on this journey. Thank you so much for all of your support. Let's see what we can create together in 2023. I'm so excited to try some different techniques and create some totally different pieces. Take care. Bye.